You look at the broader context of what happened on this trip. The president essentially went to the Eastern Pacific, Southeast Asia, Northeast Asia, and he made the U.S. presence known. And it wasn't just about waving the flag. It was also about rallying our friends and partners around a new global trade order. If you take a look at some of the deals we made with Malaysia and Cambodia, for example, which are quite detailed, it brings down their tariffs, it brings down their non-tariff barriers, has cooperation on circumvention and transshipment like you were talking about, it has elements of economic security. And after making all of these deals, we were able to roll into South Korea for the meeting with President Xi of China with a very strong hand, and the president had a great meeting with President Xi, and I think put us on a path for some stability in that relationship.
We're seeing something that's a little different in terms of the president's trade policy and the tariff policy underpinning that. And what's happening here is trade is becoming a part of foreign policy, and this president is exercising that disproportionately to any of his predecessors. And by any definition, you've got to characterize the trip as successful. Not just on China, but the trade deals he's made with the other countries. But focusing on China, I mean, he really went in here with his wind at his back, much different than the first administration when he met with President Xi multiple times.
Joining me now is Sky News Washington analyst Annalise Nielsen. Annalise, welcome to the program. Well, lots of news happening on the international front. President Trump met with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping yesterday in Busan, South Korea, and the pair announced a historic, well, I don't know if it's a trade deal or a trade agreement or a trade, hey, let's not have this fight now. Annalise, what do we know about what has been agreed so far?
Well, look, nothing in writing. And so I think what you said at the end there, let's not fight now, is pretty much where we're at. But that is a development of sorts, because this has been looming over America for some time. We've already seen a lot of flow-on effects, quite a few flow-on effects, I should say, from the tariffs coming in earlier this year. And there were supposed to be more coming in November 1st. So this is at least a détente. It shows that they do want to work together. And it shows that Donald Trump really does just want to replicate what he did the first time around. And he's aware how significant it would be if things were cut off from China more significantly. American consumers do rely on so much from China, and it would be a real hit to their quality of life if it was taken away from them. There's a big chunk of the American population that says they're happy to do that because they want to support American made, they want to support American jobs, but a lot of people will feel that hurt, and that's obviously something Donald Trump just doesn't want to put into play right now. And I think also with him just making that Truth Social post about saying that it's going to be the 2G meeting, that's really elevating the US and China to being those two big superpowers. And so I think that was a message to the rest of the world as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. But one of the things that I thought was very interesting, too, is that there seems to be, at the moment, a one-year time limit on this, that Xi Jinping has said, well, we're going to kick out any sort of restraints on rare earth minerals exports for a year. At the same time, you're going to have allowances for soybean farmers in the U.S. to get that access to Chinese markets. A year from now is the midterm elections. Is this about trying to delay any economic pain coming from a trade war with China until after those midterms? Because, of course, Donald Trump wants to hold the Congress, and if he doesn't, then his whole agenda could be crueled 12 months from now.
Look, that would be very much front of mind. Donald Trump doesn't want to lose control of Congress. It's already, they're having a hard enough time as it is with the government shutdown continuing. But I think for those who watched the last time around, they've been saying, look, the deals they made last time fell apart within a matter of months at best. And so there is every chance that this could fall apart. I think with the critical minerals piece of it, the advantage is still there for China at this point in time. They own most of the critical minerals that we want in the world, and they own 90% of the processing. And even with all the money that we've now said is going to be put online for Australia to be processing and cultivating rare earth minerals, selling to the US, and the US buying from Australia, we still rely on Chinese processing. So I think this is just them keeping their own side of the ledger in balance for the time being and saying, we'll work with you, but they're still not giving away much yet. And the other thing we didn't hear about was what's happening with this TikTok sale. They've said that the Chinese have approved for the part to be spun off to be owned by the US. But that's a big deal here as well. We saw some really intense lobbying about that. And so there's a lot of goodwill, it seems like, from this first meeting, but not a lot of detail yet.
Let's talk about Donald Trump. He's on the final leg of his Asia tour, and it's resulted in a historic peace deal between Thailand and Cambodia, transformative trade and investment agreements with Malaysia, Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam, Japan, and here he is in South Korea.
When America thrives, our partners thrive, and our alliances thrive with all of the countries. The Indo-Pacific thrives, and that's good for all of us, and the entire world becomes safer and wealthy and greater than ever before. We get along with a lot of countries. We solved a lot of wars and a lot of problems, and that's all good for all of us. The extraordinary American turnaround that I've just described has been achieved not by just continuing business as usual back in Washington.
Michael, although Donald Trump clearly puts America first and he has an American first agenda, that doesn't mean America alone. What do you make of his Asia tour?
Well, again, very successful. I thought his meeting in Japan was extraordinary, re-emphasising the close relationship between America and Japan, Malaysia, now South Korea. This guy is very different to every other US president we've seen, apart maybe from Clinton. Trump uses his personal and American muscle, right? He swings a bat around the world and he's getting things done. He's not for this soft touch diplomacy done through bureaucrats and diplomats. He uses the muscle of the American economy and the American military like no other president I've ever seen. Clinton had extraordinary personal skills, but this guy, you know, through his charm and charisma, if you want to call it that, and the bat he's carrying, gets these countries to submit to the will of the Americans. And I think what he's done in some of these wars has been extraordinary. I mean, the Congo war that he helped resolve was extraordinary. That nasty conflict with Rwanda had been going on for a long time. And of course, in Gaza, the crowning achievement, getting the hostages out. So he's very different to any other president we've seen, and so far in international relations, he's been extraordinarily successful. If you put that record against any other modern president, he's well ahead of anybody. No one rates compared to what Trump's done on the international stage, Gab.